Southern Idaho's rock station, 103.1 The Edge. It's Broc Hard Mornings, and I'm so excited to talk to this guy. As I have said time and again, I'm a 90s baby. When I grew up, it was all the music that was happening in the 90s, and that change from grunge to, the pop punk thing, and then, all the alternative stuff that was coming out. And one band that was so influential in that decade and still is today doing what they do best was Filter. And I am so excited to visit with the great Richard Patrick. How you doing, man?
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
I was so excited to see that you guys are back doing your thing. This is the first album in 7 years. You got it coming out here in just a couple of weeks. I think August 25th, right?
Yep. August 25th is The Algorithm. That is the new record that comes out then, and it's amazing. I'm really proud of it.
And, our folks here at The Edge have heard Obliteration. We've been playing it for a couple of weeks. And out of the box, man, I think that's such a fantastic comeback. Not that you guys ever went away, but it's been a while.
Yeah, 7 years. I mean, I've got a side hustle. I do movie scores in between. And I've done about 7 or 8 movie scores and documentaries. And that's why the record took so long to make, because I was kind of inundated with that.
And there's money to be made in that, I hear.
If you're gonna have a rock and roll gig, it's more of a niche, genre these days.
You gotta pay the bills before you hit the road and lose all your money.
You know what I mean? You go on the road, you make a little bit of money, you have fun, but for the most part, you gotta have a side hustle.
So are you the kind of artist, because so many guys like you who've been at it for so long, you've been at it for 3+ decades, are you doing stuff at home now, or are you still packing the gear up and heading to a studio elsewhere?
I rent a studio that is about 2 miles away from my house, and it's like a commercial room. It's like a commercial studio with just my equipment in it. And that's where I did this last record.
But it's still an escape. It's still like you've got to go out your front door, you've got to go somewhere else, and so then you enter that. And like my little voice thing that I have in my basement, I call it my secret hiding fort, and I think that's important.
Yeah, I did have a studio in my house, but it kind of grew too big, and I was noisy, and here I am working on like a horror movie, and my 7-year-old comes in and sees something horrible on the screen, and like the music is scary, and she's like, "What's going on?" So I ended up having to get a little place in a commercial like part of town, one of these industrial campuses. And it's just a big room filled with my equipment, and I sit there with my big, huge computer and a bunch of outboard equipment, guitars and basses and synthesizers and compressors and all the stuff that I have, and I just sit there and pound away. Usually I make 2 or 3 songs a week.
Wow.
Whether it's Filter or whether it's for soundtracks or documentaries, I'm constantly working.
So let me ask you this, and I'm glad you brought it. I didn't know you had a 7-year-old. I have an 11-year-old. And
well, now that 7-year-old has grown up and she's 15. So
okay, but still, 15 is still young. And I think the first handful of albums that I went out and bought as a kid. I'm 39, and so it was like, Green Day's Insomniac, and you had like Blood Sugar Sex Magic from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Yours, obviously, the first one back in '95, and
Short Bus.
Yeah, and what was so cool about that at that time is that you went into the record store, you picked up the CD or the cassette, whatever it may have been at that time, and then I would go home and I would sit down and I'd pull the liner notes out and I'd figure out who did all of the artwork and who did the photography, and you could really get a sense of what story the band is trying to tell, whether it was like, a concept album or not. You really got a better feeling for the emotions and the stories that the band was trying to portray. And so now, like your daughter's 15, my son's 11, they're getting everything song by song from like Spotify and YouTube. And has that changed the way you've had to put your creative brain into the writing process?
We make CDs. So
and thank God for that. Thank you.
Yeah, we make CDs and we make vinyl records. And we put a lot of energy into the visuals and everything that we do. And for this record, there's an astronaut, and the whole concept behind the record is that this astronaut comes back to Earth to find it completely destroyed through some kind of apocalyptic, happening.
Sure.
And he, in some of the videos, there's a video for Obliteration. There's a girl that's alive, and she's out there surviving, trying to protect her cat. And, like, for another video, I'm going to have the astronaut in it. And, it lends itself to, the concept of the record just lends itself to so many visual elements. You just have to attack it with all prongs. You have to go, what's going on Spotify? What image can we use for that?
Sure.
Is someone going to buy a CD? What's that going to look like? Is someone buying a vinyl? What's that going to look like? Like, you can make different colored vinyl. Like, we made it clear.
Mm-hmm.
So our vinyl is clear and black. There's a black one, and then there's a clear one. And I signed the vinyl. If you go to our website, officialfilter.com, and just hit the merch store, like, I sign the records, and you can buy them signed. And we just try and make it available everywhere. When it goes live streaming, I hope that people would listen to it all the way through. I mean, that's what I did when I got a record. I would, start at side one and just go through it and listen to everything. And it's so easy to get sidetracked these days,
right? Because
of okay, I'm listening to Obliteration, but then all of a sudden Spotify just changes it to Nine Inch Nails or something like from the algorithm. That's why I call the record the algorithm, because it's like, is everybody going to continue to hear it the same way that I made it? I make records. I don't make singles. I mean, I do make singles, but
I think maybe I feel stupid at this moment because I never put two and two together. I mean, I ask you that question about is it harder to tell a story today than it was, say 20 or 30 years ago? The album's the algorithm. So yeah, I mean, it's what's changing our world, and on top of the attention span thing, there's just so much more than a verse and a chorus and a hook that goes into a song. And I feel bad for artists who got used to that, who now are dealing with an 8-second attention span. It's got to be so hard for you to tell that story. But it sounds like you've got it figured out, man.
And the other thing is that people preview things on their phone, so they're getting 10K. They're getting they're not even getting the low end, or they're not getting it over a stereo or over their radio in their car. They're getting it, from their phone. So that's how they're previewing, and you have to hope that they,
right.
like hearing it with just 1K. You know what I mean? Just one frequency blaring at them. So you kind of you're at the mercy of all this technology and the attention spans and Facebook and Instagram, and if those algorithms aren't lined up, you're not going to hear about it. I have 250,000 followers on Facebook,
mm-hmm.
but to tap into that, I would have to spend $10,000 on, which is my profits, on advertising to get to those 250,000 people that are automatically following me. So they are not making it easy for artists these days. I mean, there's so many different ways to hear music. It's bizarre. Taylor Swift is the biggest artist in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I can't name you one song.
Right. Well,
because
I mean, it's
my algorithms are towards modern rock that involve a guitar. So you know what I'm saying? So I've never heard a Taylor Swift song. And she's the biggest thing in the world, apparently. And it's wild.
You're doing a professional job of dancing around what you really want to say, and you can do that if you'd like, by the way.
No, listen, I love, I found Billie Eilish. My daughter played Billie Eilish in the car one day, and I love Billie Eilish, and I love Scarlord and Rez, R-E-Z-Z, and EDM artists that I really love. So I'm finding new music.
Right.
And I found Rez through Instagram. I found Little Pump through Instagram.
Right.
And not that I'm a big Little Pump fan, but that's how I found these guys.
Yeah, I wouldn't picture you to be the guy, walking around the street wearing a Lil Pump shirt. But
No,
maybe I've been wrong
not
before.
necessarily. I like Eminem and I like rap for sure. But I like a little bit like Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg. Come on, that's more my
the classics for sure. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But yeah, it's wild. Music is. It's like, my friend released a record on Spotify and he has like 3 listeners.
Ugh.
And it's like you just basically put your name in a phone book and like someone that's it. Like you've got to have someone promoting it. You've got to have a following big enough that they'll self-promote.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to it's wild. I'm gonna work my butt off at promoting this record, and it's literally just to find the 250,000 people that follow us on Facebook or the 30,000 people that follow us on, because I can make a living on that.
Right.
If 30 or 40,000 people bought my record, I'd be making a living. You know what I'm saying?
So let's go back just a little bit because this is happening to artists. Because of these, corporate fists and those who are, controlling the scenes where nobody. So let's go back to Taylor Swift for a second. She had that whole Live Nation Ticketmaster abomination happen on this last tour, and got real upset. And the press, whoa, Taylor Swift's pissed. Okay, well, she's Taylor Swift. She could probably do something about it. Then let's go to this recent tour from The Cure, where similar crap happened, and Robert Smith said that's not going to happen to my fans, and he actually made a difference. So, do you think we'll ever figure out how to fix touring so bands aren't getting hosed? I guess for lack of a better phrase.
I don't know. Corporate greed is out there.
Oh yeah. It's alive and
well. I don't even know how to look at that kind of stuff. I would have to like really do some research on that and get back to you. But I mean, it's just the surcharges, Ticketmaster surcharge is insane. It's wild.
Yeah.
And they're I mean, dude, the guys from Pearl Jam have been fighting this since the 90s.
Oh, yeah, I think 95 was the first time they were like, hey, this is wrong. And now, here we are a quarter of a century later dealing with the same crap.
Yeah, it's a monopoly, it's huge. So, but I mean, I can't say anything bad about it because God knows my band's tiny. You know what I mean? Like my band's, Taylor Swift is a country.
Yeah, and that's
she's literally going to make $1 billion with a B this year.
And going back to when I first brought her up, I think it's artists like that who need to start taking a stand. Artists like Robert Smith,
and she does. Bless her heart, she does. She absolutely does fight for the little guy. She has made a difference. She made a difference with Spotify.
Oh, absolutely.
There's something that's, my Spotify account now costs $14 a month for my family plan. And do you think I'm making any more money?
0.0012 cents per month.
Artists are not making any more money on their, they're not getting any more money. It's like Spotify is, the owner of the website's got a new car. I would guarantee you that.
Right. It's
a web designer over there makes more money than the bands, but and there you go.
I don't know where it's going to change, but going back to the whole trying to tell your story, I think that is such an important part of putting an album together and then experiencing it as the fan, as the listener. So not only are you hearing the songs, but you're listening to the way they connect and they're intertwined, and you're looking at the artwork. And I am grateful to hear that you're still doing that and you're making the extra effort to make it happen, man. And your fans, I would love to invite them to my website, officialfilter.com, where they can buy our vinyl and our records and our CDs. And, we would be eternally grateful, because we put a lot of work into it, and it's great music. It is fun, heavy, alternative rock. It's just good. And again, the Algorithm comes out August 25th, a hop, skip, and a jump away. We've already got Obliteration on the air. And one more time, not only the website, but if you have any socials or anything else you want to throw out there?
Yeah, the official Filter on Instagram, Facebook.com Filter. Yeah, and then there's my personal Instagram, it's Filter_Richard Patrick, if you want to follow me personally. And I'm a good hang. Yeah, I'll entertain you.
If you're hearing this on the radio and you didn't catch all that, I'm going to post it up on our social as well, facebook.com/1031 The Edge. And if you want to make a little road trip, you guys have got some really exciting stuff. You've jumped on the road. Well, not yet, but you are about to jump on the road with Rob Zombie, Alice Cooper, and Ministry. Holy hell, man, that's awesome.
Yeah, we're opening the show for such legendary artists. I mean, Ministry changed my life. The Land of Rape and Honey changed my life.
That is, those guys are so good. Talking about storytellers, holy crap.
Yeah, they are up in arms about everything, and they say what they want, and they're not afraid to say it, and I love that about them.
That's the beauty of art. That's the beauty of poetry and the beauty of songwriting. And if you want to go, you guys will be in Ridgefield, Washington on September 19th, and then Auburn, Washington on September 20th. So yeah, a little hop, skip, and a jump, but who doesn't appreciate a good road trip every once in a while, right?
Come on up. Just drive safe, everybody. Make sure you wear your safety belt.
Hell yeah, man. Richard, thank you so much, man. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I look forward to seeing what's next, and good luck with this album cycle, and have a great time on the tour, man.
Thank you so much, and I really appreciate it. And I if I'm ever in your neighborhood, you can stop by, just tell them Richie sent you, and boom, you can come in and hang out with us. I
would jump on that opportunity in a second. Thank you so much, brother.
All right, bro. Thank you.
All right, you bet.
Bye-bye.
I mean, I just got to do this because like I've interviewed a lot of people, but I'm like a 90s alternative, whore. I mean, 90s alternative and 90s rock shaped my life. And I just talked to Richard Patrick from Filter. Oh my God. Brand new record out August 25th. This is Obliteration, brand new from Filter on 103.1 The Edge.
Ashes circle the drain. Oh, now it's all that's left. All that's left of me. Sink my teeth in the pain. Watching the world go numb. And I'm just one step from obliteration. Just one step from obliteration. Just one step from obliteration. just one step from a